But Zinchenko as well. Listen, defensively, this guy is just—he's. The thing is, a lot of people say, "Oh, but look at his performances previously. Look, he's been defensively sound." The main thing about Zinchenko is he's not consistent. He can't keep consistency. He can be good on one day. He can come out and be amazing defensively, and then the next day he's making schoolboy errors. You just need to
Can I ask
find.
you a
You
question,
need to
Sark?
find.
Is that not
Yeah.
on the manager? Because we know he can give us, let's say, 60 minutes of complete good performance. It's usually after the 60-minute mark where we start complaining about his lapses and where he costs us. Like, for example, like Liverpool, when I think we were 1-0 up and then Trent nutmegs him. It looks like he was about to make the change, but then decided to wait it out. If we can somehow Arteta can go, right, I'm going to get 55 minutes out of Zinchenko, pull him out, because that's when the mistakes carry on happening. I think it's on Arteta a little bit as well.
Nah, if he's a one half player, just sell him.
I think Tomiyasu's injury really affected Mikel Arteta's substitution for Zinchenko. He probably would have brought on Ben White and shifted Tomiyasu to the other side. Because Tomiyasu got injured, he wasn't able to take him out. So his hand was kind of like his card was basically dealt for him. We can't really criticize him for the substitution because who else is going to bring in that point?
No,
is he going to take both Tomiyasu and Zinchenko out? It kind of is going to disrupt the game even more.
Honestly, our best back line is obviously Saliba and Gabriel. Their places are solidified between anybody. Yeah. And then the left back and the right back. Left back is Tomiyasu. I think Tomiyasu at left back this season has been one of our strongest left backs. We can all say that, oh, look what Zinchenko gives us going forward. Zinchenko gives us forward, great. So stick him in the midfield. If you want to stick him in the midfield, stick him in the midfield. But at left back, I think Tomiyasu gives you, until Timber comes back, this is what we need to do. We need to have Tomiyasu at that left back position, Ben White at that right back position already. And that's probably our strongest back line. Our strongest back line going into games.
Let me ask everybody a simple question. I was going to literally make this a title of my own video. Do you guys consider Tomiyasu a liability or a strength at this moment in time? Because in my opinion, I still consider him a strength to our team, and he adds some elements that a lot of our other players cannot bring. So if you consider him a liability, you're basically saying the cost of having him on the pitch defensively outweighs the benefit of having him offensively.
Tomiyasu or Zinchenko?
Zinchenko, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I want to go to Jay, actually, because Jay, you said a minute ago, if he can't do 90 minutes, sell him. Expand on that for us, mate.
Yeah, no, that was just in response to his point about subbing Zinchenko 55th minute or 60th minute every week. Mate, he's not paid to play one half. But just to give my take about the game, happy we won. First time winning 3 in a row this season in the Premier League, so it's nice to build some consistency. First half was good. Happy to see my captain back scoring 7th of the season, all comps. I'm even starting to think he's the Norwegian Lampard. This guy's banging the goals in. Very happy with Odegaard. Happy with Saka as well. He's becoming inevitable, just like Salah is for Liverpool.
Talk about it.
No complaints about Saka, Odegaard, and Martinelli done well. Didn't score, but gives everything on and off the ball. But if I'm being honest, yeah, we can do all this throughout the season. But if we don't get a striker in January, I don't think we're going to do it. There's a chance, but I feel like this is all just not a waste of time. But until we get a striker, I don't think so, man. Jesus is on 1 goal. It's December. I wanted a striker in summer. Fast forward 5-6 months, Jesus has 1 goal. And there's no point talking about Eddie because I'm not trying to bully anyone or start agendas. We all know what Eddie's on. We can just leave it as that. But obviously, the next option is Trossard. He's playing in midfield now. So I just feel like we're good enough to come top 3, top 2, maybe even first. But if we want to win this league, we'd get a striker in it. That's just my opinion. So
you're not too worried about kind of Zinchenko, the midfield defenders. For you, it's about we're doing everything right, but we just need more players that can put the ball in the back of the net, and then we're there.
Yeah, I feel like we need a striker. I'm not worried about people like Zinchenko. Like Tomiyasu is doing well, but let's not let recency bias get the better of us. Zinchenko is 10 times the player. Tomiyasu might be better defensively. He might be better defensively, but on the ball, light and days, Zinchenko's better than him.
I don't think we're going to get a striker, in my opinion.
Yeah, neither do I.
I think we're going to get a midfielder, And I think the whole goal of this season is to the defense to be the bedrock of how we win. We will still score enough goals to be up there at the top of the table. We will still have the goal difference because we're going to be really resolute defensively. We're not going to concede as many goals. But bro, let's be honest. If we had Saliba or Tomiyasu fit last season, we win the league. It wasn't about the goals per se. To me, it was always about the defense. So with Declan Rice being here, a reliable midfielder who so far has not missed any time, we don't have to worry about that piece. Like Thomas Partey continues to getting injured. So to me, I don't think we don't necessarily need to go and spend 40, 60 million on a striker who in 6 months' time we want to get rid of again and get another better player. We might as well go big. We might as well go big for a proper striker in January, because I don't even see us getting Tony at this point. I don't see us getting anybody in January of the value and the quality to raise our level, where in the midfield we can get somebody of the level and the quality to raise our level, and we could still win this league without necessarily having to shake it up and get another striker. I believe we can do that off the back of our defense. Defense wins you leagues, bro.
Just to respond to you, I agree with what you're saying. I think Arteta come out and said, well, according to the reports, that due to the Partey injury, they wanted to get a midfield, blah, blah, blah. Our attention's turned to a midfielder. But everything you're saying is correct. I agree with you. And
we all want a striker.
Listen, well, we're not Chelsea or City where we just spend millions and millions. I know people think Arsenal spend, but as the club we use our resources. Like Partey's not available, we'll turn our attention to a midfielder. That's how we run. But if we're being honest, ask any neutral. If we get a proper striker in January, we'll probably win this league. We can do some buts and maybes that we've been doing for years and years. But you know, Egal, I know, we get a big 9 in January and we're favourites for this league. But we're not going to do it.
That's the problem.
And I know we're not going to do it. So throughout this season, I'm going to watch it. I'm a fan. I'm going to want to win. But yeah, man, it is what it is, isn't it?
But that's the problem, bro. Osimhen's not available in January. You're not gonna prize away Ivan Toney now that they want 80 to 90 mil. They're moving mad. And then it comes down to the situation: do you get extorted in January, or do you wait until summer and you get a target, a first name target that you actually want, and you address the midfield and improve your creativity issues throughout the games?
Yeah, we can wait or we can win this league. It's just up to us, isn't it?
Come on, bro, believe.
Nath, we'll come back to that in a minute. We'll come back to that conversation about the future for Arsenal. But in terms of today, what did you make of it? Did you think you guys got a bit too lackadaisical towards the end, or was it a comfortable performance that was just slightly marred by an individual error? Overall, was it a good win for a team trying to win the Champions League, Premier League? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I do think it was a solid performance. I just think towards the end of the game, I do think we didn't take our chances, and that was the biggest problem. If you really, sit back and you analyze the game, that should have been a comfortable 3-4-0 with the chances that we created, and it ended up being a 2-1 because Zinchenko goes to sleep and lets in the opponent. That wasn't the first time he did that in the game. I believe he did that in the first half, and Raya bailed him out of that. So it was a game in which we were cruising, and with Zinchenko's error in the last 5 minutes to go in the game, it completely changes the momentum. And as you know, momentum is a powerful thing in football. And it's something that I kind of want to see the squad kind of improving, because I feel like when we do go in these tough moments, sometimes we retreat into a defensive shape rather than kind of take control of the game and try and take the sting out of it. And I felt like those last 5-6 minutes, we were just defending, and there was no kind of real control on the game. And I feel like that's an aspect of the squad and the team where I want to see kind of develop. But overall, I thought it was solid. I think Eddie should have scored. And, regardless, when you're played through, I don't care if the keeper gets a touch in it or not. I think that is your bread and butter. When you have that amount of time, you have to hit the back of the net. And that completely seals the game and makes it a lot easier. And I hear a lot of people talking about we should, as if, we should put more energy. But I also feel like when you look at the top teams, there's also this level of energy expenditure where you manage the game and you don't go overkill. And I felt like we did enough to manage that game, but we just weren't clinical. You look at the likes of Manchester City, they tend to have that energy towards the back end of the season because of how they manage games. So I do disagree with the panel in terms of we needed to go more for the kill, because I felt like we did enough for it in the game throughout the 90. I just feel like the players, Jesus let us down in terms of finishing in that aspect. Overall, he was amazing. His hold-up play today was a clinic, and the way he was, the way he linked up with Saka for the first goal, for the second goal with 1-2 with Zinchenko, Eddie Nketiah, I think Trossard had a chance as well, if I'm not mistaken. So there were plenty of chances throughout the game. And I think Zinchenko, for a man of his experience, for what he's been brought in, he can't be going to sleep. Like we saw defensively what he brought to us last game, and we all praised it when he made that off the line clearance, and he was solid defensively against Brentford. But this is concentration, right? It wasn't, it's not like he got done or anything. It was just concentration, and from an experienced member of the team and somebody who's coming from Man City to give that squad that type of leadership, you expect better, and it's extremely frustrating to see that.
I get that completely. I want to have a chat about Saka in a minute in terms of what he's delivering, but I know if I start doing that now with Brandon, who's just arrived as well, it might go back to talking about the game in isolation. I know, Brandon, you've been off. You've had a little operation, mate. I hope you're feeling better. What did you make of Arsenal today and the fact that you are now 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League? Let's not forget that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I've been quite impressed with the last couple of performances by Arsenal. We're starting to look like the Arsenal of last season again. It's clicking more. More players are showing up in games as well. It's not just Declan Rice versus everyone like it was at the beginning of the season. But like my man just pointed out there are still them silly little errors in our game. Because let's be honest, right? Wolves didn't look like scoring at all today. Up until that, the 84th minute, with the silly error by Zinchenko. We know he's got that in his locker, unfortunately. He's not the greatest of defenders. And, up until that point, Wolves didn't look like doing anything today. And it kind of shows just how good of a performance it was from us today, because I believe, apart from Manchester United, Wolves have scored in every single game that they've played so far this season. So, this is a decent side, and we limited them. And overall, I thought it was a very, very good team performance. Okay, we could have, maybe finished one or two more of our chances, and maybe it should have been 3 or 4. Obviously, it was only 2, but, then the momentum shifts when Zinchenko makes a silly error like that. And I just think, if you're Mikel Arteta, I'd be so frustrated with that, because we had such control of that game. And then, just one little error shifts the momentum completely. And let's be real, they had a few chances after that, and we could have been coming out of there with a draw when really we should be winning that game comfortably. So that's the only thing that I can really criticise. But like I say, I'm starting to see the Arsenal of last season again now. I'm starting to see players clicking into gear. Havertz has started performing as well now. Martinelli, Saka, Jesus, they're all turning up. And I think that was the worst bit about our start to the season, was defensively was very good, but attacking wise, not very great. But now we're starting to see these players that performed so well last season in an attacking sense start to step up. So hopefully we can continue that on.
Do you know what's interesting listening as obviously the only person here that isn't an Arsenal fan? What's really interesting about listening to you all is I can see the standards of your club being raised by you all in different ways. And what I mean by that is you're top of the league by 4 points. I still think of an outsider looking in, you beat Wolves fairly comfortably. There was a last little 10 minutes where it was a little bit crazy, but if Eddie finishes the chance he should, and there's no mistake from Zinchenko, you guys win, and you're not even talking about any of that. But yet you're still kind of nitpicking in the right areas, and that's because you just want your team to keep getting better and better. And it's good to see that. I don't know, this isn't a dig at anybody in particular, but obviously Lee Gunner's someone, there's a lot of gooners like him that they have standards up here, and I think everybody else does, but everyone has a different sort of feeling of when I expect us to be at that level, as opposed to demanding it when you're not quite ready. And I think that it's interesting listening to you all talk. You're all happy, but there's still a long way to go. We want to get even better. We want to score more goals, and I think that's only going to help. That's only going to help improve.
I think the reason for the higher standards from us, is because we want longevity. The thing is, you can come out and say, oh yeah, this is great, we keep on winning, and let's say for instance we win this league title. I'm not just gonna be happy with one league title. I want us to build longevity so we can do it for years and keep that winning run going for years, because the way we built this team, they're a young bunch of lads. They're young. So this team should for realistically go from now, when they win their first title, they should be able to go on for another 5, 10, 15 years together and build on each other. And obviously you're bringing in players at that point, bringing in youngsters who can also learn from these players, because they were youngsters themselves when they first came to the club. And that's what you want to start to build. You want to build that mentality inside within the club, where you built this off of youngsters. So the youngsters that come in can be coached or mentored by these older players now who are young, who were youngsters when they first came to the club.